Hey guys, it's Sam the Statman, coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be ranking the top 5 father-son duos of all time in MLB history. This is the type of video I've never done before, and I hope I can continue to do more of those, but before we start I'd just like to say a few quick things. Firstly, I'm dedicating this video to my dad, who has been so helpful in helping me form this YouTube channel, and everything. He's helped me doing the research. He's just been so helpful, and I'd just like to thank him so much. And another thing, this is a bit of a shorter thing, and not one just concerning the actual video. What I'm going to talk about is that I won't be using the full stats because it's going to be father-son duo, so it's instead of like every number, like every ranking is one player, it's actually 2 players. So I just wanted to tell you guys those things, but without further ado, let's get into it. But first, let me give you an honorable mention. This is sort of an honorable mention, and it's also sort of a father-son duo that in like maybe 10 or 15 years' time might come into this list, is the Guerreros. Now, Vlad Guerrero Sr. is a Hall of Fame player and a fantastic player. And Vlad Guerrero Jr., he debuted in 2019. If he's as good as he's supposed to be, I think him and his dad would be like in the top 3 on this list. However, because he's just debuted, I don't think I can put him on the list yet, but I just wanted to sort of like shout him out and say like he's probably going to be really good, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and if he is, yeah, he's going on this list. So now, let's get into my ranking. Number 5 is Mel Stottlemyre Sr. and Todd Stottlemyre, the Stottlemyres. And in case you're wondering why I said Mel Stottlemyre Sr. and Todd Stottlemyre instead of Mel Stottlemyre Jr., it's because Mel Stottlemyre Sr. actually had 3 kids. One was named Todd Stottlemyre, the other Mel Stottlemyre Jr., I don't know what the third one was named, but Mel Stottlemyre Jr. actually played in like 1 game, I think, in 1990, so that's a cool fact. But I just want to let you guys know that, but let's get back to what I'm talking about. Number 5, the Stottlemyres. Mel Stottlemyre Sr. was a very good pitcher. In his career, he had a 1.12 ERA+, struck out 1,257 batters. He had a 1.219 WHIP and 43.1 WAR. Todd Stottlemyre wasn't as good of a pitcher, but he was still a pretty good pitcher, as he had a 100 ERA+, 1,587 strikeouts, a 1.376 WHIP, and 22.9 WAR. Pretty good father-son duo right there. Number 4 is the Cruzes, Jose Cruz and Jose Cruz Jr. Jose Cruz was a fantastic player. In his career, he had a 120 OPS+, 165 homers, stole 317 bases, had 77 total zone runs, and 54.4 WAR. Jose Cruz Jr. was not as good, but he was still a pretty decent player. In his career, he had a 102 OPS+, 204 homers, had 46 total zone runs, and 19.6 WAR. Another pretty good father-son duo. Number 3 is Felipe and Moises Alou. This is actually a rare case when the father and the son are have produced about the same amount of value in their career. In literally, I think every other case on this list, it's at least like 20 WAR difference between the father and the son, but this one, no, it's actually really close. That's just a cool thing. Felipe Alou, however, was the slightly better one in my mind, as he had a 113 OPS+, 206 homers, had 51 total zone runs, and 42.3 WAR. Moises Alou, his son, was almost as good, as he had a 128 OPS+, 332 homers, and 39.9 WAR. I'm putting them ahead of the Cruzes because consistency. What I mean is like they both produced around 40 WAR, while in the Cruzes case, Jose Cruz Sr. was definitely better than Felipe and Moises. However, Jose Cruz Jr. was like 2 times worse than Moises Alou. I just thought that having 2 40 WAR players is better than like a 55 WAR player and a 20 WAR player. You guys might disagree and think that if there's one really good player and one like meh player, that is better than two like good consistent players. But I thought otherwise, and I thought that the Alous should be number 3 on this list. Now the top 3, or no, the bottom 3 on this list were all very good father-son duos. However, the top 2 are both have Hall of Famers in them. So these top 2 are really obvious, but it's just some amazing players. Number 2 is the Griffeys, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. Now, Ken Griffey Sr. was a pretty good player. In his career, he had a 118 OPS plus, 152 homers, he stole 200 bases, and had 34.5 WAR. However, his son, Ken Griffey Jr., was much better. In his career, Ken Griffey Jr. had a 136 OPS plus, 630 homers. Actually, his defense wasn't actually that great. A lot of people think he had amazing defense. Now, I'm not saying it was like bad, but it wasn't like amazing, especially considering he won 10 Gold Gloves. Definitely an overrated defensive player. It's not to say he was bad at defense, but he wasn't like amazing. I'm pretty sure he actually had a negative total zone runs. Now, that could just be because of positional adjustment, but still. But he was still a great player with 83.8 WAR and the MVP award. And number 1, the best father-son duo of all time in the MLB is Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds, the Bonds. Bobby Bonds was a very good player. In his career, he had a 129 OPS plus, 332 homers, stole 461 bases, had 48 total zone runs, and 57.9 WAR. However, his son is like way better than him. Like I said this as in Ken Griffey Jr. was better than Ken Griffey Sr., but it's not even close in the Bonds case. Which isn't to say that Bobby Bonds was a bad player, but Barry Bonds takes it to a new level. He was so good, more than 100 WAR better than his father. So Barry Bonds was just that much better. In his career, Barry Bonds had a 182 OPS plus, one of the highest of all time, 762 homers, the greatest of all time, most of all time. So 514 bases, had a 195 total zone runs, had 162.8 WAR, which I think is like in the top 3 or top 2 of all time, and won 7 MVPs, the record. Like I said, Bobby Bonds, good player. Barry Bonds, one of the best of all time. I mean, it's not to take anything away from Bobby Bonds, but his son is a lot better than him. I do hope you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Bye!